Hey guys, thanks for joining me out for another camp. Been a while since I've done a proper like old school camp out with the solo tent, so been really looking forward to this. I've been waiting for the weather to clear up because it's just been so grey and rainy lately, and when it's grey the overcast weather tends to make the camera kind of overexpose and the light just doesn't look good. I don't like how it looks, and the wind ruins the sound with the speakers, with the microphone. So yeah, now I've finally got some decent weather. I've come out as quickly as possible while it lasts, because I think it's only going to last like 2 or 3 days and then it's going to get cloudy again. Well, there's the tent set up for the night. That's the tent set up. Now I'm going to go for a little walk around. I'll take the camera and just show you around the place, because it's a really beautiful bit of woodland. I've been here a couple of times before camping. The only problem with it is it's a bit close to an air base and a bit close to a road, a main road, so there's a lot of noise pollution from planes and cars, but that doesn't really bother me too much. Loads of sting nettles here, so if I want to gather any later on to make some tea with, I can do. It's handy. Often quite like walking around here with a true crime podcast or something to listen to. I guess it's because I've watched a lot of horror movies, but there is something that I think is inherently a bit creepy about some woodland, if it's kind of dark woodland. Not that I find woodland scary, obviously, because I like camping out in it. And when I say it's creepy, I don't mean that in a negative way. For someone like me who's a fan of horror and true crime, it's a good thing. I quite like that some slightly creepy vibe when I'm listening to stuff like that. This is just the isolation of it, and it's just a stereotypical place where bodies are dumped or whatever. When you listen to a lot of true crime, there's often forestry and woodland involved. So it just helps me submerge into the stories, kind of submerge myself in it. than my sleeping system, my tent, the sleeping mat, pillow and sleeping bag, I've come out with reasonably minimal gear this time. Just got a couple of bottles of water, got a 1 litre canteen, and then my water bottle. Bought the saw, a couple of knives. I'll get you a closer look in a minute. Some wipes just to clean myself with easily. Some antibacterial foaming gel stuff. Once again, just give myself a bit of a wash. I bought the gas stove with me this time for a change. Cup, a couple of sachets of drink, torch, insect repellent and bite relief, which is handy. Because normally one of the things I like about out here is that I never normally have a problem with mosquitoes. They just don't seem to be around this woodland, but for some reason today they are. I've already been bitten like 2 or 3 times, so having the repellent and the relief quite handy, and some toilet roll as well. Yes, here these moistened towelette tissues. They're good just to wipe yourself down. If I'm only standing out here for a night, that'll do me, rather than a full wash kit. Same with this, you just foam it up and unrinse it off my hands, keep them clean. And then these are quite handy. They don't last too long though, there isn't really much in them, maybe enough for 1 or 2 trips each. But they're quite a handy thing to have in your pocket, just kind of pen-sized sprays of repellent and relief for bites and stings and things from mosquitoes. Then for boiling up some nettles or my coffee, I've just got the gas stove with me. I didn't bring the wood burner because I wanted something that was a little less conspicuous in terms of the flame. So I thought this would be a good idea. I haven't used it for a while, so it doesn't hurt to test it out, make sure it's still working. And also bought the tactical spork. Bought the old ultra-fire flashlight. I bought loads of these years ago because they were going really cheap, these Cree flashlights. You get them for like £1 offline. So I stocked up on loads of them. For £1, they're really good. Like really hard, sturdy metal, quite a bright light. They just take a regular 1 AA battery, and the battery lasts quite a while. And even though I've got quite a few torches / flashlights that I charge up, which I do like, it is sometimes nice to just have a simple one where you can just bung an AA battery in there, because AA batteries are all over the place in the UK. So these, in some ways, are better than rechargeable ones, because if the power goes out, you can have an easier time finding AA batteries all over the place than you are ways to charge a torch. Then I've got a saw, a little Browning folding knife, really nice little knife actually, and good old Mora. And they're both in these leather sheaths, neither of which came with them. I had to buy them separate, but they're really nice. Little, it's more for a multi-tool really, but it fits the little Browning knife quite nicely on my belt. And this leather sheath, so I'm not too keen on the plastic sheaths that come with Mora knives. Just a closer look at those. Some water canteen, just a regular one really, military style. But I like this pouch it comes in. It's got a little compartment here to keep matches and water purification tablets. And then my Bota bag as well, or Bota bottle really, that one. this little plastic cup with me. I got this years ago. They were giving them away free. It was some council thing or community thing. Community Information Direct, www.fastandlocal.co.uk, whatever the hell that is. Won't be surprised if that website doesn't even exist anymore, because it's like 10 years ago I got this. But considering they were giving them away for free, I thought it was quite a handy little plastic mug. It's pretty hardy, just to bring out camping with me, but I've never actually used it because I've just got other mugs, like metal mugs normally I bring, but I thought a plastic one would actually be better, because those metal ones tend to be a bit hot when you go to drink out of them, even if you haven't used it to actually boil the drink in. Once you put the hot water in there, it gets a bit too hot, so a plastic one, very quite handy really. I don't know, I've never used it before. Damn, mosquitoes are everywhere. I've been bitten on my head. I don't know if you can see, there's like a red patch there. Got some of the relief on that. Really not what I need. Anyway, I haven't actually bought any food out with me today. I bought a couple of cappuccinos to drink, and these, I mentioned them in a previous video. Why food? It's supposed to be a meal in a bottle, literally one drink, one meal, it says on here. There's loads of nutritional stuff in it. I mean, the ingredients on the back are absolutely chock-a-block full of things, and it's basically supposed to be a meal replacement. I think it's more for like people on the go, you know, busy lifestyles on Wall Street or whatever. But I thought it'd be quite handy potentially for taking out camping, hiking or whatever, and the company sent me some samples to test out, to feature in a video, so I'm going to give my honest opinion about them, see what they're like. I had one before once when I was out cycling, and it was quite nice, quite filling, but I'm going to see how they sustain me, just 3 of those for the night. So basically I've got 3 meals here, potentially, it should be, which is what I'd need being out here for the amount of time I'm staying. So let's see how I get on with those. But it seemed like quite a good idea really. It's something to add to the preps at home, as well as tinned food and that. So I can get a load of those in, because they last for about a year, according to the sell-by date on them. Oh, that bite's really bothering me. I hope that goes down in the next few days. Could do with that being gone by Monday. That's right, I've managed to comb my hair down to cover the red lump. But yeah, for water, this is something I haven't used for ages, is this Bota bottle. I love Bota bags and Bota bottles. There's just something so kind of traditional about them, and I'm not a particularly traditional person, but there's something I just love about Bota bags and Bota bottles. I've got a kind of leather one at home with a plastic lining inside, which looks really nice. It looks very traditional, the type of thing you'd imagine a cowboy or something, or someone out trekking and exploring America wearing. But it just constantly tastes of plastic, unfortunately. The plastic lining inside it, even though I've had it for years, I've washed it out with all types of different things, detergents, baking powder, everything, it still has that taste of plastic in it, which I don't like. I don't like the idea that I'm swallowing a load of plastic for giving me cancer or something. But I've got this one, which is quite a nice one. It's actually a plastic bottle, just in a kind of canvas sleeve. The only problem with this one is that the lid has split, so I have to keep it upright at all times, otherwise it leaks out. And it's a really awkward size rim to it. I just can't find another lid that will fit that, unfortunately. So that's a bit of a nuisance, but otherwise I do really like it. That's why I haven't used it for a while, because I'm really anal about staying hydrated. Like, I always have a bottle of water with me no matter where I go. I keep 3 bottles in the car whenever I go out walking anywhere. Whenever I leave the car to go shopping, I take a bottle with me. And for a while I did actually used to just wear this all the time when I was out and about, but I remember my girlfriend at the time really hated it that I was constantly walking around town with this over my shoulder when we went shopping or whatever around the city, making a fool of her. But it's a lovely evening out here. It's just a shame about the mosquitoes. Like I say, normally there's none out here. It's really irritating that they seem to be everywhere at the minute, because it's quite a nice warm night. I'd like to have just relaxed here, you know, in the underwear really, not on camera, but yeah, it would have been a nice evening to just lay out on the ground in a nice cool evening air, but no chance of that. I'm going to get eaten alive. Quite a nice view from the tent. There's my rucksack and all my crap there. I need to tidy that up in a minute. These moist towelettes are pretty good. Haven't used this type before. I have no idea where I got them from now. Completely forgotten. But they're pretty good. They're nice and hardy. Sometimes I've bought like little towelettes like this, and as soon as you try and wipe your hands on them, they just disintegrate. They're useless. But these ones, yeah, they smell nice and seem to be quite good at getting the dirt off and that. Feel quite fresh. I've done a little wipe over with them, so that's good. I was tempted to come out in the hammock because it's such a nice evening, and part of me just couldn't be bothered to carry the tent and the sleeping bag and everything. It'd be a lot easier with just the hammock and the sleeping mat to put in the hammock. So next camp out I do intend on using the hammock again, because I've hardly ever used it, but I thought since it's been a while since I've had a proper camp out like this, I'd bring the tent again, because I haven't used it for a while. I don't think I used it at all last year. God damn, last year, I don't know why really. I was just out doing other things. I didn't go camping last year, I don't think. Didn't even go cycling last year either, which I really noticed come winter, my legs were not as strong. Even just kind of, if I did a little bit of a run or something, I could just feel my legs were weaker. It was weird. So yeah, it's noticeable not doing all that cycling in the summer, just to kind of strengthen them up. But yeah, I was out just on day trips and stuff, doing a lot of other things. Did a lot of road trips in that last year, so I just didn't have the time really. It doesn't hurt to have a break from it either anyway. Just it makes it a bit more fresh and exciting when I do it. I don't want it to become routine doing stuff like this. You know, it's nice to just do it for leisure. Even that meant I couldn't really do any videos then, because I wasn't coming out much. I think the last time I came out here was at the start of the pandemic, when I just did a little kind of commentary on it and my thoughts at the start of it all. I'm quite nice that things are getting back to normal now, even though I do think a second wave's coming, so I'm not letting my guard down too much, but still nice to get out doing a few things, shopping and that a bit more now. Because even though I do enjoy my own company and I've got a lot of entertainment at home, I've got to admit, by the end there, it was starting to mess with me a bit. Just felt a bit funny. It's hard to explain really. It almost end up in a bit of a funk. Everything just seems a bit fuzzy. I don't know if anyone ever gets like that. Every now and then, it's just a weird thing comes over me, where it's like the world seems just slightly fuzzy, slightly murky. It's just when you get into a funny headspace. It's only now and then, and it doesn't normally last more than a couple of days or something. I don't know how else to describe it other than just getting in a funk. But I was finding myself a bit like that, which is just, you know, of course you're going to if you're sort of isolated indoors for months and months on end. I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world, you know, it's not like going off to war or anything, is it? But yeah, it's nice to get out a bit more now. I've seen a couple of people, still, you know, keeping a bit of a distance, and if I go shopping I wear a mask and all that, even though I seem to be the only person who does. But they are going to start to sort of try and enforce that soon. I don't know how they do that really, other than just getting the store owners to say that you can't come in if you're not wearing a mask. But people seem to hate wearing masks. I don't understand why. I don't see what the big deal is for myself. I don't mind wearing one. It's only for, you know, sake of what, 10 minutes or something when you're in a shop. It's not like you've got to wear it 24 hours a day. But I think some schools are reopening now. I guess they're not going to have summer holidays this year, because it seemed a bit pointless going in for the sake of 3 weeks and then having the summer holidays. I guess they've had the summer holidays during the lockdown. But I saw some people on the news talking about how they think their kids have actually flourished not going to school, which I completely agree with. I never enjoyed school. God, it's just such a boring experience. That 5 years just felt like an eternity. It was just so dull and drab. I don't know if all schools are the same or if I just went to a crap one, but god damn, even the decor of the place was just really dull and dreary, and you're in your black and white uniform, and it really it's put me off for life ever wanting to work for other people, because it just made me hate being told what to do. Made me hate ever having to wear a uniform. Pretty much the complete opposite of what school is for, to try and condition you to be a good little worker drone, but it kind of had the opposite effect on me. I just rebelled against it all. I hated it. I spent most of my school life either sleeping or just mucking around to entertain myself and try and impress girls. But the thing is, I left high school with like 1 C in English, and that was it for my GCSEs. I always think it's funny because every year around GCSE time, the news make a really big deal of it. Oh, it's GCSE results day, we're going to go and interview some kids. Are you nervous? Are you excited? I remember when I was at school, like most people in my year didn't give a shit. I didn't even go and get my results. I think I just waited for them to send me the letter or whatever. I can't even remember how they told me now. There was a couple of exams I didn't even bother turning up for, because I thought, I don't need this. So I went out shopping with my next door neighbour instead. Not that my mum was very impressed with that. But the thing is, I still got into sixth form somehow, which I still just tossed around. Even though I hated school, sixth form was actually a really good laugh. But that is really the only reason I stayed on at sixth form, was just to mess around more and get out of having to go to work for a couple of years. But despite that, a few years later, I did decide I wanted to try and get some qualifications in that. Because the thing is, when you're 16, how are you supposed to decide what you want to do the rest of your life when you're 16? And make these decisions about, oh, I'm going to do these courses so it will lead to that career. I mean, I wanted completely, well, not completely different things, but in terms of a career, I didn't know what the hell I wanted when I was 16. But yeah, a few years later, I decided I wanted to go to college, and with that 1 GCSE, I still got into college. I had to do like a GCSE at the same time I was at college to go along with it, but still, it didn't prevent me getting into college. I did like this access course for mature students, and those, I don't know if it's the same with all college courses. I don't know if it's the same with younger students, but with the course I was doing, you cannot fail. They will not let you fail, because it looks bad for them. They've got to try and meet all these targets and that, so it's just impossible to fail. There was this one girl who had a whole term off because of personal issues, and they just gave her the extra points, the extra marks or whatever it was, to pass at the end, which I didn't begrudge her because she was a nice girl. Though I did feel like if they gave her whatever it was, I don't know, 5 extra points or whatever, they should have given everyone 5 extra points, because if she can have them for doing nothing, why can't we? You know, we should have all been kind of marked up a bit like that. But yeah, so I still got into college, and then from that I got into university with coming out of high school with no GCSEs. So it makes me laugh really when they make such a big deal of GCSEs. Oh, you're nervous, or it's so important for the future. No, it's not. You don't need, like, with pretty much no GCSEs, you can still get into college. And then once you get into college, they're not going to let you fail. So you're then going to get into uni. And of course, the better marks you get, the better uni you're going to get into. But I mean, for most people, like, you know, they don't necessarily want or need to get into like the top university anyway. So GCSEs are pretty meaningless. I just think high school is kind of meaningless. I learned maybe 1 year's worth of useful stuff in that 5 years. So there were 4 years completely wasted. If they could just condense down what they teach you to stuff that's actually going to be useful to you, it would be maybe a year's worth. But of course, then that leaves 4 years of people's kids not being babysit every day while they're at work. So I mean, I guess that's really the main use of school now, is just somewhere to put the kids while the parents are all at work. But yeah, not a big fan of the school system. I'm sure it works for some people, but the problem is the school system is kind of enforced on everyone. But how can you expect everyone to find that works for them? You know, especially now more than ever, people are more and more different, you know, more and more individual from each other, and yet they're still all being pushed into the same type of schooling system, which hasn't changed that dramatically really for about 100 years or more. even though society has. So it's just, yeah, the old school systems I find a bit strange, really. I think, and like they get so funny about kids having time off to go on holidays as well. Like they penalise parents if they take the kids out of school to go on holiday. Why the parents don't just lie and say the kid was ill for a week, I don't know. But yeah, like, which I think is really unfair, because in my experience, a kid's going to learn a lot more in a week going abroad somewhere, potentially, at least anyway, just life skills about other cultures and that, than they would a week in school. Like, you can have a week off school and you're not really going to miss much. The media and the school system and that, they like to make out like, oh, if you miss even one day off school, oh god, yeah, it can really affect your education, totally affect your future. No, it doesn't. Yeah, bullshit. My sleep pattern has been absolutely screwed lately because of lockdown. I'm not getting to sleep till gone 2 o'clock, like 3, 4 in the morning. But when I'm at home, you know, I've got distractions that I can put on, like the TV, movies, internet. But out here, it's 11 o'clock now and I'm just not tired at all. But there's not really much else to do than try and get to sleep. It's kind of annoying, really. I'm just not tired at all, because it'd be nice to, you know, early to bed, early to rise when you're out here. But it's just not happening. We'll see. This makes for an uncomfortable night when you're just laying there trying to sleep and you can't drift off. Kind of annoying. Oh well, anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning. See if I can get to sleep. I've got some true crime to listen to, so maybe that'll help me drift off. It's about 5 in the morning now. Managed to get about 4 or 5 hours sleep, really. Hopefully I'll get back to sleep again for a little bit now. But I don't feel that tired, really, considering I've only had 4 or 5 hours sleep. Yeah, I drifted off quite well in the end by about 12. So a lot earlier than I have been going to sleep lately. That's the view out the tent. I did have the outer flap closed up for a little bit when it got cooler in the night. But I do like having a view out through the netting. About 6 in the morning now. But I'm quite awake, so I thought I might as well get up. I'm going to go and gather some stinging nettle leaves in a bit, but I'm going to have a coffee first. Slight chill in the air, it's not particularly cold, but still, I think a nice hot coffee and then some hot nettle tea will go down a treat. I'm on my second Y food now, so I've had about 1.5 bottles of this since 5 or 6 p.m. yesterday, and I'm not actually hungry at all. So they have so far seemed quite filling. And I normally, you know, after my tea, I always have another meal straight before bed. Usually like a salmon steak and some chips or something. I'm terrible for that. If I don't eat something straight before bed, I tend to wake up in the early hours starving hungry. I've got quite fast metabolism. So I'm quite impressed, really, that with just 1.5 of those bottles so far, I haven't been really hungry or anything. And I've been using the calories out here, wandering about and stuff, and hauling the packet out here and that. So yeah, not too bad so far. got this tree stump here which makes a perfect seat slash table, just a little ways away from the tent. It was quite nice last night, just been alone with my thoughts, no TV or movies or anything, as much as I love those things. Sometimes it's nice just being alone with your thoughts with no distractions like that. Though saying that, with no distractions, that means that my mind just goes around and round, won't shut up. When I'm at home, I always have to have a podcast playing in the background as I try and get to sleep, just to focus my mind on, like either movie reviews or true crime or something. Because if I don't have something to focus my mind on, my mind just won't shut up. Not about anything in particular, it's not like some past trauma or something, it's literally just anything and everything just pops in there, just won't shut up. I'll lay there for hours just thinking about random stuff. There's the nutritional information on those Y Food liquid meals that I've been using for anyone who's interested. I found them quite good so far actually, quite a handy thing to take camping or have in emergency preps at home. And once the bottle was empty, it was quite a good pea pot as well. Came in handy in the night. Just found this little shelter that someone's built, so someone else has been here in this area. We put some plastic up over there as a roof, some sort of bracken around the sides. Yeah, it could just be kids who come out here playing and built a little den. Don't know if someone have actually been living in this. They've not built up the sides particularly well, it's just kind of a couple of branches put across and then some thin bits in there. Got a pole here kind of holding the roof up. Cable ties holding the roof together. Cable ties there holding some of the branches together. No rubbish or anything laying around, so that's alright. Let's get some of these nettle leaves now. Got my nettle tea now. For anyone who hasn't tried it, it basically just tastes like green tea, but it's really good for you. So it's worth trying because there are nettles everywhere, so it's easy enough to try. I really should drink more of it, really. There's the campsite there now. I've packed the tent away, so left no trace. Everything packed away in the rucksack here now, ready to go. So yeah, thanks for joining me, everyone. Got my camo sweatpants on again. Remember the last time I wore those? I got so much stick for it. I don't know why, because they're really comfortable. But yeah, I'm going to keep them on just to wander back out of here now. So yeah, thanks for joining me, everyone. I've really enjoyed it. It's been really nice sharing it with you all. So hopefully I'll see you again soon.